These are interesting times, ladies and gents. We find ourselves stuck indoors more than usual these days. Some of it is our choice, some of it isn't. But regardless, I thought I would make you a list of 15 games I'd recommend for you to play over this time period, seeing as how we're probably going to be stuck indoors for a while. So these games are long games, a lot of them are going to be RPGs, some of them are going to be action-adventure games, some of them are going to be online multiplayer games. But I think if you play some of these games, I'll give you some good hours out of them. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the best Assassin's Creed in the series. Traversing through ancient Greece has never been so beautiful and smooth. Playing as either Alexios or Cassandra, you'll spend more than 40 hours on this adventure that takes you through combat, stealth, exploration, and naval combat. There are tons of characters to meet along the way, some of which you'll even get to romance. You'll also be given a wide range of choices in the game, such as who lives and who dies, and siding between the Spartans or the Athenians, defining your character throughout the adventure. Capturing forts, using your boat to scout out key areas before moving onwards, upgrading and leveling up your character with gear and epic weapons. This is just a taste of what lies ahead of you in the beautiful adventure that is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There's also DLC, one of which you'll actually get to traverse through Atlantis and continue on your adventure after the main one is finished. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the perfect game if you're looking for a long, drawn-out action-adventure RPG. The Witcher 3 has aged like a fine wine. Despite it coming out almost 5 years ago, this is still an amazing world to explore full of blood, sex and wine. Playing as Geralt in The Witcher 3 shows a more mature side of Geralt. Rather than finding any girl to sleep with, he's faced with Triss, a significant companion from The Witcher 2, and Yennefer, a long-time lover. This is just one layer of the story with so many layers throughout the adventure, such as the Baron's quest, which has you finding clues about what the Baron is hiding exactly. Spoiler, it's not good. The major plot of the game, which has the Wild Hunt, a mythical army chasing Ciri, a sort of daughter of Geralt, for her power. I won't spoil what her power is just in case you haven't played this gem yet for some reason. The adventure can take over 100 hours to complete easily, with tons and tons of dialogue and characters to meet and choices to make. Geralt having 2 swords on his back, one for humans, one for monsters, access to basic magic abilities and armor upgrades, as well as alchemy. When you combine all of what I just said, with a massive world to explore and more side quests than you can hope to imagine, you've got yourself one of the greatest RPGs ever made. This is a great time to get into Persona, because Persona 5 Royal is right around the corner for its Western release on March 31st. However, you can get the original title that launched in 2017 for a cheap price. Given that Persona 5's main story will take you at least 100 hours to complete this JRPG, it will keep you locked in for a good while. It has everything a staple of the genre should in order to be classified as one of the all-time best. Its story has you playing as a school kid who's been accused of some mature themes. Because of this, your character has had to move to Tokyo, more specifically Sojuro, a coffee shop owner in Tokyo. However, one day you get sucked into another dimension through the app on your phone with another student from school. This sets up the 100-hour plot of mature themes such as women being used for their sexuality, a teacher who thinks he can blackmail students to get what he wants, a corrupt successful person who's built their name on a lie. These are just some of the themes you'll explore with your classmates, who you'll get to meet along the way. Along with battling in the metaverse, leveling up your party, equipping them with personas to deal massive amounts of damage. You'll also spend time leveling up your confidants by playing arcade games with them, grabbing food, watching movies, or going on dates with them. Some of your classmates you'll even be able to romance with. Mine was Makoto. These choices will have direct impact on the metaverse, allowing you to unlock special personas and combos. The world isn't incredibly large, instead Atlus has decided to make the areas that you do visit dense and packed with loads of activities to do, and by the end of the 100-hour adventure, you'll have seen your character and friends grow together both in the metaverse and the real world. If you're looking for a JRPG that balances character development with turn-based combat while having you keep your grades up in school, and you don't mind mature themes, Persona 5 is one of the all-time best JRPGs of all time. Call of Duty Battle Royale is free to play, and in my opinion it's the best Battle Royale game out there. You're kept in the game longer thanks to opportunities to respawn, such as entering the Gulag, a 1v1 where the first person to kill the other or capture the flag gets you to respawn back into the map. Your squad is also able to buy you back in with cash. The map is absolutely massive with tons to explore. It's also nice that they've labelled each location before dropping, so you can always say to your friends, hey, let's drop at a stadium, and you'll know exactly where that is. Call of Duty also has a nice blend of being tactical, but not too tactical. It's sort of right in the middle. It's not like PUBG and it's not like Apex. The way the game uses contracts to gain extra cash and armor plates is fun and makes you continue to push forward even when there's no enemies around. If you can grab 2 other friends to play with on any platform, the number of hours you can sink into this battle royale is entirely up to you. It's only fitting that I put a game such as Death Stranding on this list, thanks to its setting, showing a broken America, a plot that emphasizes making a stronger, more united America. When Death Stranding first came out, its reviews were all over the place, with some critics loving the direction of the game and others not quite understanding how a 40+ hour delivery game could even be considered fun. Playing as Sam Porter Bridges, you'll be tasked with bringing a set item from one location to another. The highlight of the game is the world and the enemies you'll be faced with. The game's direction is a real highlight. It's so good that it kept me personally playing till the end. The gameplay, however, for me personally, is something I found enjoyable for the first few hours, but it did wear out its welcome by the 10-hour mark or so. If you're looking for something that is post-apocalyptic feel to it, with an interesting art direction, and you don't mind a slower paced game, check out Death Stranding. I felt that Ni no Kuni on the PS3 generation was one of the best JRPGs of that generation. Don't judge a book by its cover, and don't judge Ni no Kuni by its artistic design. While this game might not look it, it tells a dark story about a boy named Oliver, whose mum has just been killed. Oliver ends up being teleported to a magical world. The plot has Studio Ghibli vibes to it with its artistic design, and that's not by coincidence. Studio Ghibli actually made the cutscenes that you see animated in this game. The gameplay follows Pokemon type gameplay system, where you're going to summon a familiar to do the fighting for you, each of which has its own spells and counters. The game starts out relatively difficult, but as you start to get more and more familiars, you'll start to get pretty OP towards the end of the game. It's approximately 35 hours long, and I can tell you it has one of the best endings in any JRPG I've played. If you love heartfelt stories and you love JRPGs, and for some reason you've missed Ni no Kuni, you're in luck because they've remastered this on PS4 and PC. If you're wondering which one's better, Ni no Kuni 1 or Ni no Kuni 2, hands down Ni no Kuni 1 is the better game, and you should be trying to play it as soon as you can. It's rare that a game's title alone can form an entire genre, but that's exactly what Dark Souls did back in 2011 with the original Dark Souls. Since then, Dark Souls has spawned a massive fanbase. A fanbase that's passionate about completing games without the need of any hand-holding, such as difficulty settings or waypoints consistently telling you where to go. Instead, Dark Souls simply tells you to get better. Get better at understanding the enemy attack patterns, and get better at preparing for an enemy encounter that might prove to be too difficult at first. The original Dark Souls came out a while ago, however the game has since been remastered. Dark Souls 2 has its famous Scholarly the First Sin edition, which is basically a remaster, while increasing the difficulty. Dark Souls 3 is still relatively new, coming out only in 2016. What's great about this series is the feeling of satisfaction you get when passing an area that's been causing you so much trouble. When you have that moment where you're able to perfectly time your dodges, perfectly time your attacks, and lay that crushing blow to the boss who's been giving you problems for a few days, few games can match that feeling of triumph that Dark Souls does. What's great about this series is that if you find yourself loving the Dark Souls formula, there are spin-offs such as the Bloodborne and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is also from Software's core Souls team. Many games try to mimic the Souls formula, but no one does it quite like the original team. If for some reason you've been too intimidated to play the Souls series, now is a great time to stay indoors and perfectly master the game's difficulty. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, along with Bloodborne, Sekiro, you're looking at easily over 100 hours plus on these titles, and that's not even including the other developers who've tried to mimic the Souls-like formula, such as Nioh 1 and 2 and Salt and Sanctuary. Out of all the games in this list, Uncharted is going to be the most friendly to all gamers, whether you're a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer. Uncharted will most likely capture your heart with its charismatic characters, cinematic moments, and level design. This is the peak of video game design, and proving why Naughty Dog is one of the industry's best developers. Playing as Nathan Drake in Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, you'll get approximately 30 hours out of the 3 titles. While Uncharted 1 hasn't aged incredibly well, Uncharted 2 and 3 still hold, even by today's standards, and there aren't too many games out there that will be able to match the cinematic moments that you'll witness in Uncharted 2 and 3. As a bonus, you can pick up Uncharted Lost Legacy and play as Chloe, who the series will more than likely be putting as the lead character if the series is going to continue. From action-adventure to puzzle solving to sublime script writing, Uncharted is about as perfect as a game can get. You can pick up the Nathan Drake collection, which includes all 3 games, and you can pick up Uncharted 4 for a steep discount. When you combine that with Uncharted Lost Legacy, you're looking at easily over 50 hours plus of gameplay. Don't be fooled by the age of these titles. They still hold incredibly well today, and I can't recommend them enough if you haven't played them already. Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the best open world games ever created. It's a game that made me buy the Switch in the first place. There's just something to be said about the world Nintendo has created here. It's so beautiful, it's so quiet, it's so adventurous. You just want to close your door and hit the lights and get sucked into this world. From cooking and having to buff up your stats, to being careful about the weather effects, to every enemy being a threat thanks to its tough difficulty, this game just oozes adventurousness from top to bottom. I could have done with a little bit more story in this game, such as it would have been nice if Link had a voice, but having to quest for 4 shrines and ride through countless meters, all while making friends along the way, this is the epitome of what adventure games should be. Beautiful, challenging, heartfelt, all in one. Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the best Zelda games ever made, and one of the best open world games ever made. If you don't have a Switch, Zelda is a system seller. It's a game that good that it justifies buying a Switch alone. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018 with glowing reviews, as all Rockstar games do. For me, personally, I like the Red Dead series more than its GTA counterpart. I find it more immersive thanks to its more grounded approach. Rockstar's attention to detail is really shown off in this game. You'll see gorgeous weather effects such as sunset and the sunrise, cities are slowly advancing, and characters who are just going about their daily lives. The story revolving around Dutch's gang and watching them crumble over time as you play through Arthur Morgan, watching civilization catching up to the gang over a 30 to 40 hour adventure. It's heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. Unfortunately, the story does take a while to pick up, and that's a complaint I've seen from a lot of people, including myself. But about halfway through the story, it really kicks into high gear, and you'll find yourself glued to the screen. Its gameplay is grounded thanks to its cover-based shooting mechanic, and its weapon design is authentic and true to its time. Riding on horseback while having a conversation with one of the members of the gang, enjoying the graphics and script writing, something not a lot of games can do, but Rockstar does it perfectly. I can't comment on the multiplayer because I haven't played it personally, but the story alone will keep you busy for several hours. And if you do dabble around the multiplayer, you could get even more out of this game. I've seen this game on discount quite a lot, and there is a PC version out there, so there's a lot of places you can grab this title. If you love westerns and for some reason you missed this game when it came out, now's your chance to play this because you can get a lot of hours out of this. Monster Hunter is another game that's a bit old on this list, but that doesn't hold it back from being one of the greatest action-adventure games of this generation. Its addictive cycle of preparing for a hunt through weapons and items, going out, finding clues and investigating sites to find where your prey lies ahead, finding its weakness, defeating it, and gathering its materials to craft even more and better gear, growing even more powerful while finding your next prey is a cycle that doesn't get old even after several hours of play. What's best about this game is the game really encourages social interaction, and its expansion, Iceborne, although I haven't played it personally, seems to be one of the greatest expansions in gaming, really adding more to the games, like more festivals, more bosses, and more gear. If you love deep action-adventure games, Monster Hunter might be the game that you can sink several hours into. Frostpunk is one of the shorter games on this list in terms of length, but that doesn't hold it back from being a great strategy game. There are several campaigns to choose from in which you'll be tasked with fighting the next Ice Age, making tough decisions such as do you want to use child labour to increase productivity because there aren't enough workers to create heat sinks for the upcoming winter, and do you want to create a religion to try and take control of your people. There are many decisions like this in Frostpunk, all of which are tough to make, and it will take you several tries before you realise what the correct decision was to make. And like I said, there are several campaigns with varying takes on the scenario. One of its expansions has you trying to set up society for the incoming Ice Age, deciding where you should grab food, where to position your tents and houses. Do you have enough wood, stone and other supplies to get you through the harsh winter that's coming up? Will you listen to your people and give in to what they want, or will you hold true to your beliefs and what's best for society? These are all decisions you'll have to make in Frostpunk while managing your city simultaneously. The game never stops throwing things at your face, and I put over 100 hours in this game myself. What's more is you can get this game on Xbox Game Pass for just $5 a month, and the game is regularly on discount. If you love strategy games, Frostpunk is not to be missed. What can I say about Dota 2? This is a game that has literally changed my life. I've never put more hours into a game than I have with Dota 2. I've put literally thousands of hours into this title since 2013, and considering this is a free-to-play title that can run on basically any computer out there, and how deep and rewarding this game can be, with over 100 heroes free right from the get-go, and a generous free-to-play model, with deep and rewarding strategy, outplaying, outmaneuvering your opponent is a thrill every time. While Valve continues to try and rework the game to make it more accessible to new players, its addictive gameplay loop and hunger to want to get better every game makes it one of the most addictive games of all time. And like I said, it's a free-to-play game, so you've got nothing to lose if you want to dabble around this game. Just be aware that it's quite intimidating at the start, but once it gets its hooks in you, you'll find it tough to let go. Halo used to be one of the biggest games in the industry, but it's taken a hit the last few years. Bungie's original title still holds even till today. 343 Industries has done a great job of remastering this collection on Xbox One and PC. Much like Frostpunk, these games are available on Xbox Game Pass, meaning that you can pick up these titles for a relatively cheap subscription. Halo still holds up till today, meaning that you can play Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach, get several hours out of the campaign with you and your friends, and get access to the multiplayer. If you missed the old Halo games, this is a great time to get back. Halo Infinite, which is scheduled for release this year, looks to put the series back on track. I'm having a bit of fun with this one because personally I haven't played World of Warcraft, but I've seen some footage every now and again, and I can only imagine what this game would be like if you got into it right now. Getting sucked into the world of Azeroth with all of the expansions that are available right now, its generous subscription which Blizzard is really trying to bestow its fans, encouraging a new player base, the amount of hours you could sink into World of Warcraft is mind-boggling. Be careful what you wish for, because if this game gets its hooks in you, you might find that it's 2021 too soon. And there you have it guys, 15 games that you can play during the next few months. If this video helped you, consider giving my video a like because it helps a small channel like mine grow, and if you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.